welcome to another review. This time I will be reviewing the e.l.f. Studio Blush Palettes. These palettes came out in the spring of 2014, and as of now there are two versions available and I have both of them. One is in dark and one is in light. Each of these palettes comes with a huge mirror, and this is really nice to have on the go. This is actually my mirror of choice while on the go because it's so nice and big. You can see it's almost the size of my palm, so very nice and big. And then with 4 slots of blush, and as the name implies, the assortment that you get in the light palette is a lot lighter than the one that you get in the dark palette. Now for both of these palettes, all of the blushes in here are really pigmented. Now although these palettes do look pretty large, you only get 0.14 ounces of product, which comes out to 4 grams of product. And these retail for $6 a piece. And in one of the classic e.l.f. Studio blushes, you get 0.168 ounces of product, which comes out to 4.75 grams of product for $3. So $3 for this size, which is actually larger than the whole size of the palette in terms of product content, and this costs $6, but you do get obviously 4 times as much variety in one of these palettes than you do in one of these single blushes. And the other thing is that the pigmentation of the blushes in these palettes is definitely superior to the pigmentation of the e.l.f. single studio blushes. So moving straight on to the blushes, this is the light palette and it has a pinkish coral shade here on top, a more intense pink here, then a pretty yellow shade here that has glitter. This is the only one that has golden glitter through it. I hope that you can see that. And then an almost bronzy shade right here. This corally orange shade here at the bottom has golden glitter in it, and I hope that you can see that in the pan. And you can actually pop these out. If you look at the back, they have slots and you can push on them and pull them out if you want to mix and match these palettes. So going over to the swatches, starting with this pinkish shade at the top. Very nice pigmentation. With these, especially since I'm so fair, I find that I only have to touch my brush to the pen and then either tap off the excess or blow off the excess, because otherwise it will be super intense. As you can see on the skin, this orange corally shade does not show up with a lot of glitter, and it's actually a really pretty shade. And this brownish shade, it does look pretty warm in here. It's kind of a burned brick kind of shade. It doesn't look bad on the skin though. So let me try to show you what I mean about the pigmentation of these blushes. This is the e.l.f. Angled Blush Brush, and the way I apply them on my skin is that I just touch like that into the blush, and then I go on to diffuse it on my cheeks. And if I find that I need some more, I will go in again and work in some more. But I just do not want to look like a clown, and I think that that is actually enough for what I would get on my cheeks. So let me try to show you the rest of the shades in that diffused mode. The individual shades unfortunately do not have names. So despite the fact that these are really pigmented, they're actually quite controllable. I think they look really pretty on the cheeks. Now going on to the third shade, the only one that has glitter. Well, I did pick up a bit too much there. I do not find them to be really powdery or anything, but then again, I don't dip my brush into them really hard because, as I said, I just need to lightly tap into it to pick up more than enough color for my cheeks. And finally, the bronzier shade. So I think they look really nice diffused. I think the result is very sophisticated and pretty high-end, I would dare to say. Here is a close look at the dark palette. So here on top is a kind of dusty pink, lightly orange shade. Then this berry shade with quite a bit of golden glitter. Then this intense mauve shade up here. And then this really deep kind of burnt plumish kind of berry shade down here. As you see, all these three are matte, and this is the only one that has glitter. Now, if the light palette was pigmented, this dark palette has pigmentation on steroids. This honestly has crazy pigmentation. So let me show this to you. First shade, Bam. And you know, I'm one of those people who has very pale skin. So I obviously cannot wear anything like this. It's a heavy swatch, but I would look like I just escaped from the circus because these are super, super pigmented. I do think that the colors are really pretty, and before you discount these as shades that anybody who has a lighter than medium complexion can wear, let me show you my secret weapon. So after I went through the phase where I thought, great, I wasted $6 because I will never be able to wear such intense shades on my cheeks without making a total fool of myself, I discovered a little trick. And this palette has actually been what I've been wearing on a daily basis for the past month or so. And my special weapon is just the e.l.f. original stipple brush. The one that is kind of flimsy. Not the small one, but the original bigger one. And the way I apply this to my cheeks is that I just dip it into the blush and then lightly blend it on my cheeks. And that way I get just the slightest wash of color. So this is the swatch of the blush at full intensity, and I can get as sheer as this on my cheeks. Let's go on to exemplify the other shades as well. Now the shimmery one. See, it's very, very light. And that's exactly what I need with my skin tone. The third one, super light. Obviously, you can build it up if you so choose. But this is just to show that control is not an issue with this product if you use the right brush. And finally, this one leaning more towards purple. So you can actually get them very, very soft on your cheeks. And obviously, the more you blend them out, the sheerer the color gets. And I do think all of these are really, really pretty colors. And I enjoy wearing them a lot. If I were to give these blush palettes a grade, I would probably give them a 9. I think they are good value at just $6 a piece. You do get 4 blushes in each of them, which is nice. I will say that the selection of blushes is not necessarily what I would choose, and that can be an advantage or a disadvantage. I do think all of the colors are pretty, but if you would ask me right off the bat, would I choose a blush that has a lot of golden glitter in it, like this one or this one has, I would definitely shy away from that. I am a more conservative type of person when it comes to makeup, I guess, and I would just not jump for that shade. So in a sense, I am glad I did get those shades thrown in with these palettes, because otherwise I would have never picked them up individually. Just like I would not have picked up this shade over here, because it doesn't necessarily appeal to me as a shade that would look really nice on my pale skin tone. But I think it's fun that I get the chance to try out a lot of different shades with very, very good pigmentation through these palettes. And even these less usual shades, for my taste, are a nice addition to my collection. So I do enjoy that playful element with them. I will say that it would be really cool if e.l.f. would come out with individual pens, and then you could have even more freedom in putting together one of these palettes. I mean, still with these two, you can mix and match the shades that you really like to take with you on a trip or something, or that you really want to use on a daily basis. But if you had like 20 more pens to choose from, that would be really cool as well, especially since the formulation of these blushes is really nice. And these compacts are really sturdy, and I really do appreciate the large mirror in there as well. If e.l.f. were to come out with more versions of these palettes, I would probably give in and purchase them just because I did like these two so much. And although you do not get a huge quantity of product, as I said, the weight of the product overall is actually inferior to what you get in one of the e.l.f. Studio Blush singles. But then again, these are so exceptionally pigmented that you only need the slightest quantity. And I do think that with the right tools, such as this e.l.f. stipple brush or such as the regular angle brush, you can get a very satisfactory application, whether you're lighter or darker. And I do think you can get a really good value out of these irrespective of your skin tone. So overall, I really do like these and I would recommend them. I hope that this review was helpful. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!